Oh, how goes it, guys? How goes it? It's a little warm. Let me see if I've got the nest. What is it at? It's at 70. Alrighty. So, been working on some been working on the crafting menu. That's been the big thing. So let's work on it some more. I've got a new panel over here. Instead of a tree view with collapsible nodes over here, um, now you can pick a category and switch between them here. I'm going to pretty that up some. This is bugged. Fix this again. Get this up. Well, actually fixing this will get that up. So here's what I'm going to do. So over here, this guy, the recipe list, homie, row. So I'm going to show all. Bet you this is column. Row. There we go. It's weird. This one doesn't show up. What do we got? Just a bot. Just a bot. What a pooper. Scooper. So strange, like this guy doesn't appear anywhere. So I go here, take X out of the name, that appears. It's like this guy is just not on the screen. I'll address that later. So what I do want to do is I'm going to pick the element, this guy. So we're in our scroll view. Wrong one. Scroll view. Crap. Not what I want. So this element should be row. Now this is a nested element inside of the scroll view, and it uses a Unity. It's like a Unity baked in element. So the way I found to address that guy and fix him is, for one, actually, let me. It's like this thing is hidden. There it is. So the flex, so let me go ahead and make these CSS changes while I got this up. So again, I'm tweaking the the USS rules. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going? How you, it's Friday, right? Yeah, it's Friday. Merry Friday. Got a 4-day weekend, so I'm 2 days into it. How you doing? I'm working on some Unity UI toolkit, the crafting screen for the game. So just working on getting everything laid out right here. So I changed the display of that guy. So in the UI toolkit debugger, you can kind of play, it's like inspect element in Chrome. If you hit F12, you can like pick an element and like, it's really like debugging a web interface. And I've tweaked stuff to make it look right. So now I'm going to go to the USS file, or the style sheet, essentially. What's up, Lavaca? Oh, that's good, man. Chilling. I tried to break away from game dev to play Battlefield 6, but I don't know, man. I want to game dev more than I want to do about anything else. So this is recipe tree item. Recipe tree. Do I not have a class for this guy? I gotta have a class. Ooh. Hell yeah, man. What games you work on? Or like, well, what's your side project like, and what do you work on, or have you shipped with your company? Oh, I guess I don't have a rule on this guy. Oh, well, that would explain it. I work as I'm a software engineer. I work on at a pharmacy, one of the biggest, pharmaceutical, or like if you get your drugs mailed to you, I most likely have had a hand in it. I do a lot of PLC programming. I automate pharmacy factories. I do a lot of hardware, software coding, and I do game dev on the side. I freaking love game dev. I'm probably one of the biggest drug dealers you know. At the new site, man, it's crazy. Like just one cooler. Last Epoch, badass, dude. XCOM Medieval, I like that. I like that. I'm going for Rimworld Elin vibes, or so it's kind of turn-based, but have you played Elin or Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead? Um, or Rimworld. It's kind of the three big inspirations. A little Dwarf Fortress inspiration in there too. Well, let me show you like the pathfinding systems that like this is kind of how the movement and the turns work. So the player can constantly move. You control them, and they will. Oh yeah, oh dude, that game is amazing. The developer's book is also. I'm been meaning to buy his book and read it because he's a beast, man. But basically, everyone has an action timer, and everyone kind of takes turns, so it is kind of turn based. But the player moves fluently, so instead of like XCOM where you gotta wait, um, everything's happening really fluidly. So basically, everyone's taking their action and chasing me, and I'm over here working on the pathfinding. Because the pathfinding's on its own thread, and it's using the A-star pathfinding asset. It's jobs, burst, all that stuff. I was having trouble where units could get into the same grid cell. So I've got basically the movement and turn-based logic kind of isolated in this scene right now. And I've got it to where they cannot get on top of each other. So it's a huge win there. And then Elin, I'll show you Elin real quick as part of the inspiration. If you look up Seth's video on Elin, hey people, he's got a funny ass video about this game that he recently dropped. But this is another sandbox, sort of like Rimworld, but again, you don't play like a god character. You have a main protagonist, and like this is your town. And like, see how I'm moving and the NPCs are just kind of teleporting around? It's a very fluid turn-based system. So, but this game is just really, really deep. There's just tons and tons to it. It's just really, really inspiring. So Noah is the developer of this, single developer. Elona was the game before it, but I think Elin's a prequel to that. But the systems are really deep. Really cool game here, but this kind of shows you what the movement's going to be like. So the player animates and everything, but the NPCs don't animate, so everything can just stay moving quickly, right? And again, so that's kind of the vibe of the movement. And then I'm not too deep into that, but once you play Rimworld, you get the vibes. My residents are going to work like Rimworld. They already do. So like, I can go to a workstation, say, put a bill in it, like, I need 6 clubs, I need 4 swords, this or that. And then my ally NPCs, residents, colonists, whatever they're going to be called, will see that. They'll go look for the ingredients in the chests or the inventory or on the ground. And if they can't find the ingredients, they won't do the job. But if they do, they'll go to the workbench, build the stuff, go put it in storage. And then, like, for instance, after that, they'll go find some food or entertainment or whatever. So they got real deep psychology of the NPCs, just like Rimworld does. So they're goal-orientated, kind of a goal-based AI with... Oh yeah, dude, it's cool. Like, again, watch Seth's video on Rimworld and Elin. I don't know, his reviews, probably shouldn't give his videos to people as like, hey, check out this game, here's a review. But they're funny as shit. I like his reviews. Actually, I should have left Elin up. So the crafting station or interface here, I've been modeling kind of after Elin, but I'm gonna take it a little further. Rimworld and Elin aren't the most controller-friendly games, so I'm really focusing on controller-friendly out the gate. So you got your recipe panel, you got your product panel, and you got your filters over here, right? And that's kind of what I have here right now. I'm fixing a few little tweaks and alignments and stuff since I gave them graphics. And I'm such a big proponent. I love UI Toolkit and Unity's latest builds and editors. They went from the UGUI, the old UI tech that they have, to this. And it's very web dev reminiscent. Like, I can pick an element off here, and you got your UXML, which is like the HTML or the structure of the UI, and then you have this USS, that's the style or the look of the UI. So you got those two elements separated, and then you have the brains of the UI, which is a C# script typically, or it is a C# script that drives that. And then I use MVVM, the model view model pattern, to decouple the UI so it's not, tightly woven into my game, and I can use these UIs or pull them out for something else and all that. I've been going very scriptable object or data driven, event driven with all my systems because I'm building systems as I go because I want to be able to take those systems and use them in future game projects or possibly sell them as assets. Let me give you a quick rundown real quick. If you've already played Rimworld, you would see a lot of the inspiration. Here's all the scriptable data objects. So recipes, skills, workstations, traits, world gen, factions, items, level editors, classes, characters, biomes, backstories, and the AI actions, considerations. The AI director is like Rimworld's AI storyteller. And that's trying to create very emergent gameplay and stuff. So let's go to the start screen. Well, actually, let's just go to World Gen. So in Rimworld, you start a new colony, and the first thing you do is you kind of set your World Gen parameters, and that's the world config JSON or scriptable object here. So here's all the different properties: sea level, elevation scale, temperature offset, rainfall offset, octave count, your noise settings, rivers, factions and roads, caves, and map gem local tile. So when I hit play here, it's going to procedurally generate the planet, and it's going to map out factions and settlements across it and then connect it with roads. The roads are a little buggy right now. They need to be improved, but they just kind of build across the oceans and crap. But the yellow dots are settlements. But let me actually do this. You can see the Perlin noise generation for the local map. So I have my procedural generation for the world map, and then I don't have a controller hooked up to it quite yet, but you can kind of see it does pretty good. And then you can pick where you want to start your colony or your town or whatever I'm going to call it. And then if I go like here, so pretty flat local map. So this basically represents the local map Perlin noise right here. And then as you go into the mountains, it gets much more hilly. River generation's a little bugged too. But see here, this river, let me fix this, hold on. I gotta fix this shader. The triplanar shader always kind of starts off wrong. I gotta fix that. But here, there's connectivity. So each tile, well, yeah. So 1, 2. So you see how like this river map continues on to the next local river map. So there's that continuity, and like, so this is World Gen. You'll pick where you're gonna drop, then you move on to your character creation from here. I'll run quick through this. I've been using UI Toolkit for almost all of my UIs this time around. It's hesitant at first, but I really like it. So I don't have the graphics swapping out yet, but you can randomize your character. You can pick their life, adult, child. I don't know if I'm gonna do baby. I don't know if I'm gonna do this thing here at all. It's there for now. You can pick your race. You can pick your class. I need to make sure that doesn't pop off the screen. Your character's favorite color is determined, and if your character wears a bunch of its favorite color, it's going to get a mood boost like in Rimworld. Every character has a childhood story and adulthood, and those factor into your stats and different things. You get traits, different things they're incapable of doing. There's a real deep system in the health and all that, but so this is kind of the character creation screen. You'll get like 3 to 5 characters you can make and start with. From there, you would go into the local map. that you picked during World Gen, which would be this guy. I'm going with a 2.5D Octopath Traveler kind of vibe. So let me turn this UI I'm working on off real quick. I've hand rolled all these systems too. I haven't used any assets outside of the pathfinding asset and asset inventory to generate or for anything. So the game's really lightweight. It's just my C# scripts and my content. There's no like big asset packs in here so far. I've been hand rolling all the systems. So the pathfinding here it works, but it's a little buggy and there's some issues. So that's why I kind of have it in a separate project right now. Again, building it as a system and then bringing it back into the fold. So I've got it bulletproof here, and I fixed all the issues that I have currently in the main project. I've got different debug menus I've built with the UI toolkit for like entities. So if I select this guy, I can see the health system simulates all your bodily functions, and your torso, all your body parts can get damaged. So you got your organs and your limbs and all that stuff is factored in. So it's a real deep health system. There's farming, but I'm still in the early stages of that. So like right now I just create a farm zone of 70 tiles, and that would go in, those tiles would go into the job system. The NPCs would see them and start working that plot. And different stuff. Yeah, this is about 4 weeks into the project. I started on the 4th of last month. Yeah, somewhere around there. So a little over a month of work has been put into this so far.
Awesome. Awesome to the max.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you much.
Awesome. Awesome to the max.
Oh shit, I finally hit, what, 200? Oh man, thank you. Thank you a lot. That took forever. Well, I was streaming a lot about a year ago, and I took a long break, and now I'm back. Been doing it pretty full time. I've been on the road working a lot, so now I'm back home stable. You know, I ain't traveling as much. All right, back to UI work. So there is some cool shit when it comes to UI toolkit. There's a learning curve to get used to it, but if you've ever done web development, man, this is the way to go. One, instead of a canvas with a ton of game objects in the scene to do all your UI stuff, you have one object with your UI document, and it's just a way more performant UI tech as well. All right, so I shouldn't have. All right, let me do the debugger again here. Hold on. Okay, I know that has to change. And then I know how to fix that one. What else do I want to tweak? Actually, I think that's everything. So here's the UI builder. I've been doing a lot of the UIs because it's UXML and USS. I usually start off with like a deep research prompt, and I kind of like, this is the UI that I want, and I want to break down all the functionality, create a plan to do that. And then I build a project plan for that. Whatever feature I'm working on, I'll build a project plan out of that deep research. And then I'll for the initial stab at it, I'll probably feed it to an AI because it can spit out UXML and USS fast. Whereas the old UI tech, it would need to control Unity and do a bunch of clicking in the interface, adding shit to the scene. It just does, it wouldn't work. But now, because it's web-based, I can get the bones real quickly, and then I just kind of polish it in the follow-up. So right now I need to, wrong element. Actually, I can do this one. Add selector. Go down here. Flex, where you at? We're gonna go row. Now I want to make sure that's in the style. That is, okay. Good. I think that's all I need to do right here, right now. So that fixed the slots for the required materials were going up and down instead of sideways. I wanted to list out this way in a row format, not column. So that fixes that. Now I go to my, this guy. You to be row, and like you can, so what I just did causes it an inline change to the USS or the UXML. So like in HTML you can put like CSS rules, inline them instead of put them in the style sheet. I don't want that for this guy. So what I've done, I can basically say I can take that change I just made and extract it to a style sheet, and since there is no class in the style sheet right now, it's going to create one. So recipe tree item. All right, so now that US or that styling change is in the style sheet, and that's the fix for that guy. And this guy does not. What was it? It was, why was it hidden? I may have to debug it again to fix this guy. So let's go ahead and hit save and proof, or check that out. So I've created sub elements too. So like I have individual elements UXML sections. So like the list, see the list row item here now, it looks a lot better. This wasn't looking right before. But the third text item here isn't showing up. And now these are going in a row instead of up and down, which again is what I want. And now over here you can switch categories. And I'm gonna nest this over and like it's tabs coming out of the side of this parchment. I'm not gonna have it floating out here like that. I've got some stretching or 9 slice issues with the banners here. Whatever. I've got to move in the required materials, so and so you can make tweaks to your USS. I would like it to be, it doesn't have to be inside that deep. We'll do 25 for now. So translate 25. What is that class? That is the okay. It's cool because it shows you where this class is from. So these are on the style sheet. This is inline because I just inlined it. What do I want to do? What is that called? I'll fix it in the whatever. Okay, this is what I gotta get after. The third text, the third label in here is not showing up. Display none. There it is. So display on this guy is what I need to fix. Wonder why that is. I almost think it's programmatically getting hidden. Hold on. Display equals. Oh, what's wrong with it? Isn't it getting old, long in the tooth? What's the problem with it? Not being recognized? I guess this link tree is over my chat box, so. I had to figure out my chat box. I thought I had it all working. Ah, yeah, hex codes and whatnot. Oh, that reminds me of old trying to write a new function in Ultima Online to send a new packet from the server to the client. Yeah, this is all fun. Yeah, you're doing some low level stuff, man. Oh, Lordy. What was I looking for? This is what I was looking for right here. This, yep, it was programmatically being hidden, which I don't want. Well, I'll disable it for now because I don't actually think I want to highlight level on this row template for the UI, I need an input box on the left here by the icon. All right, so now if I hit play, oh, I didn't fix the other issue. I'm actually getting a lot better at figuring out UI toolkit. It's been a paradigm shift, so level one. I don't... It's interesting that the color of that text changes on selection. So when you're using keyboard and mouse, I'm going to allow you to quickly, because when this UI is up, no other inputs should be recognized. So you have basically it levers the full keyboard or the full controller, and allow you to. This over here is what see AAA. This will be ABC, or well, probably ASD. If you click that letter on the keyboard, it will, like if this was S, I would click S and it would switch to that. So you can quickly switch, no matter how big this list is, it'll have a letter associated with that item that you can click and filter your stuff out really easily. These will probably be numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually when you're on keyboard. And over here you'll have probably the letters here, so you can like say I can go like one or click 2 to filter it down to clubs, and then say there's like 15 items in this list, and the 7th item in the list is a F. It has an F next to it. I can hit F, and so like SF, and now I've got that recipe up over here, and then C to craft. But basically, I'm going to allow you to kind of control the UIs with your keyboard really quickly, because almost everything will have an associated keybind. Because when any UI element is up like this, I want you to be able to quickly kind of work it. Sort of like old school roguelikes, you can just do everything on the keyboard. Like you rarely have to touch the controller or the mouse. Now on the controller, I'm going to make the like left trigger basically toggle into binding real quick, and all these will be represented by button lifts to let you, so you can quickly control or jump through the menu without having to like click down 10 times to get to the 10th item. And then if you want to switch or sort your category, it's going to be weird, and not a lot of people, it's not going to be some standard thing a lot of people expect from games, but it's really, really nice feature. And it allows people to, power users especially, the ones that get used to it, to quickly menu and stuff. So like you can spend less time in the menus, a lot less clicking, and all that. CDDA has got a great example of it, but it's going to look really small. Elin does it too. So like if you got like a list of menu options up on the screen, there's usually a keybind associated with that option. You can click it and do that without having to mouse over and actually hit the menu element. I want to focus on controller-friendly UIs, and the whole game should be playable on a controller is my goal. Whereas these games typically kind of have controllers as an afterthought or not at all. So that's one of my big goals, because I can't game forever on a keyboard and mouse. Like, if that's the only option I have and it's a game I really want to play, I end up using ReWAS or some other things and Steam Input to make it controller friendly. But I'm going for controller support and friendliness out the gate. This is a weird thing. So if I click out of the game window and I come back, the very first click clicks through the UI, which I hate. I've got to figure that out. One, because this UI is up, the player's input should not be the movement, like clicking. I shouldn't, like out here, I can see it's not clicking. The player can't move. But if I click out, I lose focus of the game and I come back. Don't make me look like a liar. Yeah. See, I'm moving. Well, so like again, I have to click in. I have to like click on the Unity editor, or like outside of the game window to lose focus. So say you Alt Tab out and like come back, and then you come back and click. For some reason, that very first click after gaining the game window gaining focus again is going through the UI. Now in the old UI code, this was, I know how to address it, and I've got it working to where here with UI Toolkit just fine, except for this issue, which is just like, why? But honestly, I don't know if I have to chase it too much, because once this menu pops up, the player's input and ability to manipulate the world behind you will be disabled. Maybe it's an editor thing, actually. I don't know. I haven't cut a build yet and tested it live. That's a good idea. Let's try that. So I'll cut a build. Because it's like I don't want to spend a bunch of effort on it if it's just an editor issue. Builds. And I haven't run it in a build yet, so this will be interesting. You is. I've been experimenting with a lot of food stuff lately to find ways to. Hold on. Is it done? Build failed. The namespace rendering does not exist in Unity Editor. Oh. Well, thank you. Now I've got to go wrap those in what's it called? Directives, so they don't execute in the build. Because the Unity editor stuff is not in your final build. So those namespaces don't exist, so these error out. I will come back to that. Ooh, that sounds good. Earlier, I ate 2 hamburgers with buns, and like had next to no blood sugar spike. So I found these keto buns I like, but again, like if I just eat it the way it comes right away, I usually can just eat one, and then if I want another one, I'll have to wait a little bit and eat the other one, and it won't spike that bad. But I got it to where I hollowed out the buns, essentially, took all the extra meat out of the bun. So it's just kind of a bun shellish. And then I took berberine, apple cider vinegar, and another thing, a supplement, like 30 minutes before I ate. And man, I ate 2 hamburgers straight in a row. Didn't even barely budge my blood sugar. It was crazy. Like those results were amazing. So I'm finding ways to still enjoy almost normal food. And I'm very excited by that. Alrighty. So next up on the chopping block is the required materials positioning. So if I go here, oh god, to the moon. This I got this glucose monitor on my arm, so it like helps me. Like I got data metrics for like my entire day and like or whatnot, and like over 40 days now in a row, I've barely had only a few spikes. Yeah, it's Bluetooth. Um, like I got time and ranges, so like I can see how long. Like 99% in range and 1% off is what I'm at right now. Like my average glucose throughout the day has been like really good. Like I'm basically controlling my blood sugar before having to take any medication. All this, I'm gonna get off certain medications and not have to go on insulin or anything like that, just because I'm really tackling my diet. Um, I don't know. Yeah, it's got to have a battery in it, but it lasts for 2 weeks. After you put it on, it lasts for 2 weeks and it stays on for 2 weeks, and then you got to take it off, put another one on. I'm sure there's a battery in there, but I'm not sure how it works exactly. But my relationship with food has changed. I've mastered it. Like and I actually ate spaghetti earlier. Um, it caused a moderate spike, but it didn't like it wasn't bad the way I basically cooked the noodles, threw them in the freezer, let them freeze or get really cold, and then the noodles become starch resistant, or I can't remember what the hell it is. So it lessens the blood sugar spike. And then after I took them out of the freezer, throw them in a pan, heated them up, throw some spaghetti sauce on there, and I did a crappy sauce from Walmart that has like 8 grams of sugar in it. So that's the spike probably came from the sauce mostly. Um, so I can tweak that setup. I'm thinking I can get it to where I can eat just a small portion of spaghetti still, my favorite fucking food in the world. With a few more tweaks. I gotta get Rayo's. That's like the lowest. Wigman's. What's Wigman's? Is that like a store? Oh yeah. No, I know. I've never heard of that. So 25 on the translate. Let's see if that does it. It did do it. Oh, nice. I've got, what is it? I've just been trying to discover ways to enjoy, like foods similar to, like normal. And I found like burgers, I've got that figured out. I've got, I mean, I can do a lettuce wrap, but my new technique with those keto buns um, has me enjoying burgers just like I would normally. And I found really good sauces and sugar-free stuff for it. So it's all just learning and adjusting and finding what works. But I do not want to be on medications and insulin or any of that. So exercise and diet, I'm going to control it. And I've been doing it. I've proven I can do it. I'm going to keep doing it. If in January, when I go back to the doctor to get tested again, hopefully, yeah, everything comes back spades. Monk fruit, or monk, maybe I'm not saying that right, but the monk fruit sweetener, I can't tell. I like that one. I get the cheap $5 bag of it from Walmart. It works really good. Like when I do want to sweeten something. But I'm not a big sweet guy either, though. On the road, I was eating so many chicken wings. I had a ton of celery from the restaurants because my per diem was like $75 a day. So I was constantly just buying wings because they're kind of a safer thing to eat. And like I started snacking on celery sticks, dude. Now I like it. I actually enjoy celery just straight up. Yeah, that lead it'll get you. All right, so okay, now I've got this kind of pushed in. I want to push these two in a little bit more. I'm going to fix the border on this guy. Bring these two down just a smidge, I think. And then I'm going to push this panel in. I'm going to actually make this panel sit behind this one. So these look like tabs sticking out from the side here. And the categories thing, I'll keep it. It's pretty nice looking. I don't know. And then I'm going to add the keybind element that will go in front of this. This list also needs to be pushed in. I need some margin on this probably. And I don't like the highlight colors like that blue. The hover is good, but that blue is not it. And okay, wait. So these, the selection color stays when I switch categories now too. I got that going. All right, so let's make those tweaks. I don't know. Like I've always kind of just been terrible with food. I never could stick to a diet, and all that crap. But I am really fucking nailing it now. Yeah. Well, I exercise after I eat, um, and I'm exercising more, but I haven't really added that into the equation on a regular basis. That I'm still struggling with. But so like if I do eat something bad, if I just go walk for 10 minutes or, 10, 20, 30 minutes, that really helps with the keeping it from spiking. All right, so for these guys, I'm going to put a margin on the left. Let's go 8. Did that do anything? It did. Let's go 20. The icon for the club is way too fucking tiny. Well, it's not too tiny. It's just in too big of a frickin'. These are all temporary icons, but. So one trick I like is after I open up something in Photoshop, if you hit Control Shift Alt W, you can go right into export. So I'm in the Steel Axe photo file, but if I do this, I won't override that, and I can just quickly, without having to change the canvas and all that crap over there. Where did I have that at? Icon stuff. I can export it right onto that PNG, and then I can just close this without saving it and not affect the axe. Instead of manipulating this canvas and getting this figured out, that's a quick way of updating a texture that isn't right. You can use a texture that is right and quickly do that. So now you see the club is more visible. The tooltip, I would like it not to exist. And I'd like it to stop sooner because it stays up when you're off of the background. So the tooltip needs to actually proc off of this background image or banner or this visual element instead of the parent one. Because if you see, yeah, it's proccing off the parent of the material slot element, and I'd rather have it proc off of the material slot. So I'm going to do that next. So add a, what did I do for them? Yeah, there's oh, where's the debugging? There's a GUI, there's a screen you can open up and it'll show you all the inputs that's going on, all the connected devices, what device is connected, what player, and what all keys are firing and all that goodness. I think it's this guy. Oh no, this is oh, this is cool. It's simulating a Apple iPod Mini 4. That's fucking sweet. Google Pixel 5. Galaxy Note 20. Yeah, if you go to General Device Simulator, you can actually see how your game looks on mobile devices. Yeah, it is. I cannot input, where is it? Yeah, input debugger. So now our window analysis input debugger. And now if I select this, should show. I'm getting killed. This is what you want, essentially, I think. All right, my margins. I guess I could leave. I could just do this list view, margins on it. Oh yeah, yeah, that one will do it. Actually, let me connect the controller real quick. I'm pretty sure it will do it. Oh, you gotta double click it to open it up. Now you see here, see all the device inputs are being triggered. Or this screen lets you see it. So connect your device and then double click it like that. Oh, my battery's dead. And you can see your device working. Yeah, actually 100%. Use the window analysis input debugger. If it shows up in that list, you've already made it that far, right? With your USB device. And then from there, double click it, your device in that list, and you can see all of the inputs coming from it. So I'm going to just margin this instead of margining my template or my little row element thing that I built. I think that'll work. It looks like it did because the scroll view is now scrunched up. So, all right, next up, we're going to be offsetting you. Let's go -10. Oh, that's going to look sweet, actually. So the categories will be a tab too. So let's hit save. I actually have been avoiding the UI builder screen, that one I just showed you. I've been hand editing everything and tweaking, or using AI to, well, that didn't work like I intended. HD. So let me bring that back up. There we go. As you can see, there's a little disconnect between the UI builder and the resolution. So that's one reason I don't like it. So now all those categories should poke out as tabs. Yeah. Looking. Now I'd like to. I'm going to margin the whole thing. Margin left. I meant right. That looks good. We'll go with that for now. Man, it's coming together. It's already hooked up to the player and his inventory system, so if I had stuff in his inventory and I used the crafting button, it would decrement it from the materials and put the item in the inventory. And it's completely decoupled with MVVM, so the all systems communicate with this crafting screen via view model. The view model doesn't have any awareness. The UI has no awareness of all the other systems underneath the hood, except it fires off the craft event, and what cares about it will respond, etc., etc. So if we go up here, Now, I keep forgetting to inline rules sometimes when I'm working. So we'll see what so 50 there. I'm going to put that in the crafting menu, CSS, or USS. Now, the way you can tell if you've got crap inlined, which I probably do, yeah. So I need to inline this guy. I didn't mean to leave him there because I want 0 styling in from AMP. This guy too. I don't want any styling info in my inlined with my markup. So those will probably sell to a portion of the Jeep community. What's the story behind the ducks? I see it all the time. And like, if I was a Jeep owner, I would never, do the duck thing. See how long it takes to notice. What is the duck? What is the story behind the duck? Like, if I see someone with ducks, it's just like someone who has like instant loyalty to the sports team in their hometown, or I don't know. I just feel like they're just a carbon copy, and like they got a Jeep and have no originality. I gotta know what the ducks mean now. Hold on. Why do Jeep owners put ducks on their dash? Jeep ducking tradition, a playful gesture to spread kindness and foster camaraderie within the community. I've never seen that word. What the hell? Camaraderie. Oh, I can't say it. I don't think I've ever seen it spelled. I know what that is. Initially. Oh, so it started by putting initiated in 2020 in Canada during the pandemic. Oh. How do I know if the ads are running? I wish I knew that. Okay. Um, this only started in 2020. The duck thing is not that old. I can't believe that. That's got to be wrong. July 2020. What the hell, dude? I don't know why that's like blowing my mind. Like, I just assumed this is like a tradition that's been going back in time before that. Okay, whatever. Don't look at how many tabs I got open. You know what? I'm just gonna kill it. Kill it with fire. I'm gonna buy this. So this, I'm going for an Octopath Traveler style, and this asset here is gonna be a great kicking off point for that. And I'm going to practice creating stylized assets like this myself. You know, a good chunk. When I'm browsing asset stores or looking at different stuff, I've been really looking or itch.io. I've barely used that site until recently, but it's really a great resource. But if you look at Octopath Traveler, this is the vibe I'm going for. So I've already kind of got the depth of field working. I just need some assets that fit the vibe. Because as you can see here, these don't really do it. I've got these quads all set up with a U-lighter. So they got normal maps. They've got the lighting actually affects these guys. Let me show you. I've got some lights that are got a flicker script and they are moving slightly to show it off. So you see how like the light, there's the normal map and the occlusion and the specular maps are really giving that effect that the 2D character sprite or the quads that have the textures on them have some depth. Another thing I don't like about this asset, that right there, that ghosting. I just noticed that actually. And the leaves on these trees don't really cast shadows well. Oh, the G20, or what is it? What is my monitor? It's an Odyssey G8 or some shit. I don't have an ultra wide anymore. I got rid of the ultra wides. Yeah. No, I don't do ultra wides no more. You can't get full 4K resolution, man. Like, this is a, hold on. Yeah, it's Odyssey G8. It's curved. Yeah, I don't do the 13. Yeah, because you don't get the height. Like, that's the downside of ultra wides, man. Is like, I just don't feel like I get the real estate of 4K, you know, like a 4K, a true 4K monitor. Yeah, that's why I got this guy as a 240 hertz, but I don't know why the hell I did. This thing was crazy expensive, and I don't even think I noticed those things. My HP over here, that's like $200-300 4K. It's just straight, not curved, but looks great. And you know, I don't know. I don't do enough gaming, or I guess reflex gaming to know. Oh man, that's gonna drive me crazy, dude. All right, so I put my margin. What is my next move? That font's kind of hard to read, but I'm not full screen either. The stretching here, I'm going to just do something else besides these. This, I want to make it more tab-like paper tab. It is for that, yeah, but yeah, I'd almost prefer, what I'd really like is a 4K like this, because 4K over here, like, I don't know, like I'd rather look up and then that way. So I got to get me a monitor tree that can handle it. Ah, this is a good looking UI so far. I gotta put the test items back in my inventory. Hold on. Actually, let's see. I may actually. God, I just spent too much money on assets. Probably gonna buy this guy. Just so I can feel this out. And again, these sprites here are probably... That's right, that's right. Oh, no, no, that's fine, it's fine. Don't look at the windows, I'm cleaning house. It's fine, it's fine. This program right here is completely free, and it's a great tool for creating normal maps out of for your sprites. It's Laigter, lighter. I don't know. I cannot words. The fidelity of these sprites, I don't know. Like if I'm gonna go with that level, I think I don't know. I'll know in a second once I buy this asset. Really wish this came with more stuff, but it'll be a good, it'll teach me exactly what I need to do to accomplish that style more. All right. Focus on the crafting menu. So if you look in the background, you can kind of see that Octopath Traveler effect, the depth of field, and then down here. So essentially the game should be paused whenever I'm not taking an action. But the pathfinding bug that I have in here can cause me to get stuck before the path ends. And it has other issues like, like if I try to go a straight line sideways, see how it dipped down? It's considering it's blocked square when building the path for the player, so you should walk straight across instead of dipping. And then it's possible to get on top of each other. Yeah, see that's a bug right there. They shouldn't be able to just keep attacking. Like if I'm not moving or attacking or doing an action. Yeah, like right here, I can't get up on that second ledge right there. All these pathfinding quirks I've got figured out in my isolation. So like this guy here, so I just got to bring over the code fixes from that guy to here. But I want you to be fast moving, like so the turns are all happening really quickly, and everybody's moving, and everybody's taking their actions, and it's quick, right? So it's gonna be a turn-based kind of sandbox, colony sim, life sim. I'm thinking about doing like every unit's like a piece. You got like a mantle you're sitting on, so it's sort of like you're a chess piece moving around. Like I'm gonna animate the attack, so like when you lunge, like you'll lunge when you do melee, or if you have the player will be more animated than most. But the combat's not really fleshed out yet. And the pathfinding is broken in the main project. And I still don't know if I'm going to go with the Octopath Traveler level, like little sprites like this, or more detailed sprites. Probably going to go with little sprites like this. It looks cool to have a more detailed sprite for the players and whatnot, but I don't know. I'm feeling out the art direction. Like, I would love to just work or have a serious artist just chat with them, talk with them, work through some things, and like help me land on the art style. Like, I obviously want to go with the Octopath Traveler kind of vibe, but what what uniqueness can I bring to it, or what? I don't know why I'm yawning. I've been using this asset here to, it's got a lot of good UI elements. And so asset inventory is just amazing for looking at your assets and then importing just one texture or one prefab, one thing from a giant asset. But also you can open it up directly into Photoshop from the asset. Blue does not vibe with my UI or what I got going on. I want something. Stop it. Stop yawning. I don't know why I yawn after I've been streaming for a little bit. I'm not, it's only been an hour and 20 minutes. These work, it's just the stretching is not good. And they need to come down a little.
Awesome. Awesome to the max.
Crazy Cowboy Coder, thank you so much. Appreciate you. You're my 201 follower. Appreciate you so much. Thanks for the follow, man. I've had that goal up for 200 forever, man. I finally hit it today. Feels good. I'll change it to 201 so I can hit it again. How you doing? Interesting. I might be able to fix this with padding. No. That is not the answer. It's a label, so I need to nest it. Oh, I'm doing good. Doing real good. I like how you can build it for VR chat in Unity. And the way I'm going to handle modding in my game, I'm going to use UMod 2.0, and that allows anyone who wants to build stuff for this game to use Unity. I wonder if VR chat's using UMod because you can build stuff in Unity for it, right? I bet you they might be. UMod is the best fucking asset. It is the easiest way to add modding to your game. And they get to mod with the same tools that you use to build the game with. So it's that guy, that asset is just very nice. I'm getting close to, I need to work on that now because I'm still early in the systems. Um, Steam? Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen a couple. Yeah, the Steam page started playing a song out of nowhere. Like Elin, the modding for Elin uses. Oh man, I can't remember what it was, but I saw it. There's other ways to approach it, and a lot of it's method injection or swapping. Elin's modding system, I think, breaks a lot, but that's because the modder or the developer is just constantly building and working, and it's still early access. UI toolkit, and I'm learning UI toolkit's quirks and all that right now. But I think modding is really important, especially in like a single player game or a game that you want to have longevity instead of trying to shoehorn it in late in the game where it's very tricky. I'm gonna do it. I'm only 4 weeks into this project, and I've got the procedural planet generation. I've got your local map procedural gen working. I've got your inventory items. I've got the character stats and body parts and advanced health systems to simulate limbs, prosthetics. If you lose an arm, you can get a like a replacement one. And it's going to be kind of a steampunk. Well, not steam. I don't want to say steampunk, but it's a world. It's a fantasy world with magic and technology, sort of like Arcanum, where in Arcanum it's more of a steampunk vibe, but with magic and technology don't mix well. So if you're like, say, one of the best examples of Arcanum's world is you got to get checkpointed to get on a train in there, and then magic users have to be on the back of the train away from the engine. And if you're strong, because again, the magic will cause technology to break and mess up. And then if you get like scanned for magical items, like, and if you're too big of a magic user, you just can't ride the train at all because you affect technology too much. So like that's kind of the vibe of the world I'm going for, so I can have fantasy and some technology stuff kind of going together. I don't know if you've ever played Arcanum's Steam, or it's an older game, but it's really good. It is a cool this game. Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura. Really cool game. Thought this would have more screenshots. watch a retrospective on this game sometime on YouTube. Actually, hold on. While I go get...
Hey people,
drink.
Seth here. Today, I'll be covering an
Be right
older
back.
CRPG which still has its own faithful cult following. A game where you can greatly expand on your English lexicon, promote Marxism among the impoverished working class orc, and of course, have cheap carnal relations with sheep. Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura. This episode is brought to you by RPG Codex and Bad Dragon, both great gaming websites. Thoroughly recommended. Arcanum takes place in the world of Arcanum. In this fantasy setting, the civilized world is undergoing an industrial revolution, which parallels closely to the industrialization that took place in the 18th century, complete with orc sweatshops, child labor, and lung cancer for everyone. What a great time to be alive, provided you're not a working class peon with a limited life expectancy. However, there's a problem. This world has magic, and magic doesn't exactly coexist well with technology. Technology in Arcanum is just a broad term for utilization of the natural
stretching
sciences
the
to do
bones.
stuff, while magic relies on the violation of these natural principles. Put them together in a system, and everything fucks up. Toss a magical artifact too close to a steam engine, you'll loosen and displace the gears, make the engine run too fast, or make the fuel chamber overpressurize and explode. So, mixing the two is generally a bad idea. And while a lot of people benefit from the increase in tech, some are extremely salty about it. Spells and shit don't work near industrial cities. Healing and resurrecting people by waving your hands no longer does anything. You instead have to rely on barbaric practices like medicine and surgery. Maybe they'll even start demanding you to be a licensed professional, whatever that means. Back in Uganda, you could freely practice sorcery and trepanning with just an associate's degree in witchcraft. Everything about this changing world comes together over the course of the story, in which you can play a single, fully customized character. There's a huge variety of options for designing your own character, which are determined by race. In no particular order, these are humans, proud, noble, and forward-thinking when it comes to tech. Elves, proud, noble, but regressive Luddites that hate tech. They live in the forests and chew on bamboo. Dwarves, similar to elves, just shorter with fatter cocks. Half-elves, products of rape. Half-orcs, products of rape. Half-ogres, products of systemic rape. And of course, gnomes, the products of
That looks like
polygamy,
Adam Driver.
incestuous breeding, and corporophilia. It is no exaggeration or hyperbole that all evils of the world are endorsed and committed by gnomes. A gnome feels no empathy nor remorse, no common humanity that separates us from simple beasts. The only love a gnome can feel, if you dare describe it so, is that for money. A gnome would sooner sell his own mother for a pouch of silvers than do a single good deed in his entire gaping hole of an existence. You also select your background and upbringing, which can range from being voluptuously lewd and beautiful to being born as a mentally stunted special needs child. The story goes that you board the first Zeppelin ever made in this world, the IFS Zephyr, on its maiden voyage across the continent, which gets shot down by orcs flying fighter planes, who are later identified as brothers Jihad al-Nuri and Hussam al-Muradi. The orcs aren't very good at flying, so the attack turns into a suicide bombing, or as we refer to it in Arcanum, an isolated incident. Anyway, these orcs commit two isolated incidents, which result in the Zeppelin exploding and killing everyone aboard. Except you. You live. Then, a gnome dying in the wreckage asks you to deliver a ring back to its rightful owner, with your only clue being the manufacturing signature of the company that made it. This sets off a chain of events and an unfolding conspiracy against not only the modernized world, but the entire living world itself. The first time I played this game many years back, I had no idea what I was doing, but it turned out I knew exactly what I was doing. Arcanum is one of the rare games out there where playing a pure charisma build is not only viable, it's optimal. With every 3 points of charisma, your character can recruit an additional NPC into the party. By endgame, I did not have a party. I had a fucking army, and because my charisma was so high, I pretty much talked my way out of any encounter. So, I got to the end of the game, met the final antagonist, and I was ready to beat him with my squad of goons, except that didn't happen. In the end, you and the final antagonist talk it out. He explains his philosophy that he views life as unnatural and that the very act of living and existence is in and of itself suffering, that he'd rather eliminate it.
I don't know if you've seen this one guy's videos. This guy, yeah. So his game dev videos, he's actually he worked on Arcanum and whatnot, and he has a video where he's kind of decompiling the code now and getting it running and whatnot. But he's kind of talking through all the systems and stuff. But he's got a lot of good game dev advice. He's a good one to check out. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. But I have there's an element or like a resource in the world that allows magic and technology to kind of work together without, you know, being a shit shoot. But it's rare or it expires or something like that. I'm still working through the idea. But wherever you start at is going to be like on the ley line of it or some shit. So like you don't have to worry about it as much. You can at your home base or whatever, and then anywhere you go, you got to either yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking through all that, but fucking A, dude. So yeah, it's still building out the world and all that good stuff, but you know, it is what it is. I think I'm gonna buy this so I can just feel the Octopath Traveler and in my bones. Oh wait, does this support URP? Yes, okay. I mean, this was been one of the best ones that really I think has the look I'm going for. It is a good kicking off asset. I'm not gonna buy it now. I need to stop thinking or worrying about art at this point and just keep working on functionality. I will get to the art. Dude, I'm so freaking stoked. I had a plate of spaghetti and I ate 2 slices of like this barbecue pizza. 2.5D. So the Octopath Traveler vibe, like you can see here. Have you heard of Octopath Traveler? So this kind of 2.5D, your characters will be 2D characters, and then in a 3D world. So yeah, they call it HD 2D or some crap or whatever, but 2.5D is the look I'm going for. And then on Elin is kind of one of the bigger inspirations for the game right now. It's an isometric view, but like the movement system you see here, like it's turn-based, but it's fluid and fast. So like if I go, one of the ways to raise your defense in this game is really weird. You can kind of hang yourself on a gallows and everybody else beat your ass in your base. This game's got a lot of weird mechanics, but it's really deep. So like, again, watch some reviews on this thing to get a vibe for what I'm going for. This game has so much depth and like so much crap you can do. So here's this crafting menu. You got your recipe panel, you got your product panel, and your tabs. So this is kind of I'm trying to match that UI. But one of the things I'm really, again, targeting is controller support. Rimworld is another big inspiration. But I'm going to focus on making the game very controller playable for as much as I can. Because, again, I just way I prefer to play. And a lot of these games like this that I enjoy don't have the greatest controller support. What are you doing? We got 14 people.
Nice. It's your game room.
Yeah. I've got the Octopath Traveler vibe kind of going. So I got the depth of field there and the down here. But it's a turn-based game, but it's very fluid. Like, you're not waiting like XCOM and like, yeah, like you take a turn, they take a turn, da 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 da. It moves, but like when I'm not moving, the game isn't moving. Or I'm not performing an action, the world isn't, time is stopped essentially. So you can be strategic and all that. You didn't go Six Flags, Lou? Why not? Oh, they said the lines are long.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't want to go. They said I was expecting it to be long lines, so I just didn't go.
I think it's raining too.
Bad time.
Yeah. Well, you know, that happens.
Very happy I
Oh, no rain. Okay.
didn't. It very long lines though. That's why I didn't want to go. Last time we rode like 2 rides.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every line was like an hour long, maybe longer.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah, it was. Half the time was just walking around.
I don't know. And again, I don't even like roller coasters, so I just, I'm over that. And it's not like there's like a good restaurant or anything in there.
Some of the food's alright. They got turkey legs.
The turkey legs are actually pretty good, but not enough for me to go stand around and be miserable.
The barbecue place is pretty alright. I don't like how the pork sandwiches are cold though.
The time of day is not linked to the player's movement. So time of day is actually constantly iterating right now. I need to do that. I need to fix that. Because when I'm standing still, it shouldn't be changing. Ugh. You learn how to. You gotta start learning to program.
Oh no.
What are you doing?
I was just playing Minecraft.
No. Get logged out again?
Not this time. That was so annoying. It logged me out like the second I got logged out. Like literally like I logged in, played like a little bit, got off, and then went to get on again, and then it was logged out.
I have a second we have a second account. I need to
Figure out which one that is.
yeah.
I've been playing modded. I was playing all the mods 10. Right now I'm working on getting like a settlement down. Because there's actually like townspeople that you can have build stuff for you and stuff like that.
Oh.
In this mod, which is really cool.
It's like the game I'm building.
Yeah, it's a little different. But like you could build a town hall, a bunch of houses for NPCs. You can build hospitals and like restaurants and stuff for them to like be happy. If they're not happy, they're gonna like not do work.
Remember that one mod server we built? You could have a town and like have roads, and then players could log in and buy plots of land, and like it was protected when we build on it.
I mean, on
Minecraft, yeah. It was like Towny or something. I don't know. Can't remember the name of it. It's been so long. I was thinking about playing Battlefield 6, but
You gotta buy in your log in your thing.
oh what?
You gotta buy in your thing.
Yeah, those guys are annoying.
Port it.
I have to go to the browser to do that, I think.
Do you?
Yeah. Not worth the effort.
You could moderate it and just delete the message.
Yeah, I haven't got that figured out.
Let's watch the video on it. See what
There's barbecue pizza in there.
no one told me got here. I forgot about it.
Are you gonna make something else? There's a hamburger in there.
I was gonna make
Tacos? You gonna make tacos?
I don't know, baby.
If you do, let me know. I'll eat taco salad. I am actually kind of hungry. Okay. Why does this keep popping up? What the hell? So, the description obviously is not the most readable thing. I'm going to move that over. That's why it keeps popping up. Text needs to be bigger. I'm still trying to find a font that I'm happy with. This one's okay, but I also need to implement UI scaling to where you can. I don't know if I need to do it because of UI toolkit, because it handles resolution independence really well. So here's 720p. There's WXGA HD right here. So the UI toolkit stuff is really amazing when it comes to resolution independence. The UI is not shifting or changing when I change resolutions. It's still laid out just fine. I'm going to push these text over. I'm probably going to make these smaller. I don't know. I'm not deep into the items yet, so I don't know how many I need here. But I think this is going to have to be smaller because some of the longer recipes, I really don't want it to wrap. I want all of the required materials to be on one line. The tooltip works good. I need to have the tooltip not fire off. Outside of the black box. See, it just takes, it should not be popping off there. It needs to be one deeper. I need these to be sequential. I'm going to do that next, I think. Yeah. Just because I want to do it. Oh, let me think though. If I'm gonna get deep into input, actually, I'm gonna close Unity real quick just so you get the hub to stop popping up. So
Does Unity work really good, or do you use any other web software, or just Unity?
Unity's my main game engine, but I can make stuff in Unreal. I've messed with RPG Maker, Godot, well, a couple others, but Unity is where I've got most of my time.
Most people use Unity.
Yeah.
It's the most common.
I'm invested in it.
This Unity makes it. Is it cool? The software.
Yeah. C# too, which I've written I spent most of the time writing C#.
Like learning that,
All right.
yeah. Are these all custom models, or are these some imported models?
These are all the 3D models and the sprites are all not handmade or
Yeah.
but I pull them from my assets. So I've got a thing that indexes all my Unity assets. I've got 1,041 assets packages. Yeah, during the whole fiasco about the runtime fee crap, like I tried Godot and all that, but yeah, man, I've just mastered Unity to a level where I don't want to have to deal with asset inventory. Is nice though, because I can cherry pick an individual sprite or 3D model from another package and bring it into the game without bringing in the entire thing. So this is a half a gig asset, and I can just bring that one sword in, or that one sprite, whatever I want. But it indexes it builds up a database of all the game assets I have, and it's an index of 840,000 items. So that's sound effects, code files, fonts, images, documents, materials, shaders. But I can just cherry pick things I need from any asset that I own.
Nice.
So I just set up Comfy UI with Quinn image editing to compare it to Nano Banana. Um, Photoshop Beta now has Nano Banana built in, which is kind of sweet. So like here I can be like, recolor this to match a paper parchment look. Crap. Nano Banana is really good at nailing text and consistency. Um, so I really like it. I'm glad that Photoshop Beta has brought it in to the fold, because Photoshop's generative stuff is crap. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and export that guy. It is, yeah. I've never paid full price for Adobe Creative Cloud. Like I get it. It's like 60 bucks a month or whatever for all the apps. But what you do is you get it and then you go to cancel it and they'll be like, "Oh, well, if you don't cancel, we'll give it to you half off." So I've been paying like 29 bucks a month for all the Adobe products for years. And every time I've got a calendar reminder set for whenever my yearly subscription gets close, that I'll go cancel threat. I do it with a lot of services. You just go try to cancel it, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you a discount." So I periodically do that, just to make sure I'm not paying full price for shit. $12 is too big. Sushi boy. He's a good boy. He is a good boy. Kitty boy. Should go grab Kitsune.
Put him on the camera. I might.
Is that your phone?
Yeah.
Oh.
My bad.
No, you're good. I thought it was a browser tab of mine. All right, so those are over. Really, this descriptive text, I want to bring over more. The header texts are fine, I think, dipping into this. What I do want to do, so it's cool, just like Inspector in Chrome, you can use pick element to kind of select an element in a Unity UI toolkit UI. So that's the label. Kitsune, come here. Here's my Maine Coon kitty. He's a big boy. Are you gonna sit in my lap? Nope. See you later, Tater. The most expensive animal I've ever bought. And then the UI toolkit debugger is just great for debugging material, or you can test out changes to your USS or your style sheet. And so here I'm going to that doesn't affect crap. What I need, instead of trying to put a background image on the label, I need to add a visual element underneath this and then put the background texture there. But I also want to bring this down more so it's not dipping into the bottom of the UI panel right here. So let's do that. So I got into AI when I was modding whatchamacallit, Ultima Online. I was learning how to work with the client and server software because the open source community has replicated the client and server for Ultima Online from nothing, like just feel. They've basically, they didn't have access to the code or whatever, and they've replicated the entire game in classic UO and then serve UO or the Git repos. And then it's just amazing what they've done. But there's a big community of open source servers and stuff, and like I was adding proximity chat to Ultima Online, which is an MMO from 1997, and I got real close. Basically, I got the proximity chat to connect everyone peer to peer, and I could punch through complicated networks. So like if you even had like you were double natted behind two routers or whatever, like I was able to get the proximity chat to talk people to talk as fast as working good. But then I was just like, I need to build my own video game instead of modding this one. So come down 25 there. But I did a lot of like Forge UI or Stable Diffusion UI work where I was hitting it programmatically and like did all kinds of stuff. Or actually, yeah, let me show you this. I don't think I have streamer mode on. Yeah, I don't. So the corpse gump is like, this is like when you kill something and you're looting it, it drops. This is the skull and bones coffin is where the items are, and you got to drag and drop them out of that. And I create a pipeline and I create a prompt generation system to where I could basically dynamically shoot a directory of images against a bunch of randomizing prompts and stuff and create new weird stuff. And like, I just let my 4090 run. So here you can see I've got like George Bush versions of the Gump. I've got like, it goes through politicians, it goes through genres and whatnot. So here, like, this is the player's, like, the player character stands in this interface. And I had it just make a ton of different versions of this interface using control nets. I've done a lot of stuff in that space with UO. Here I made this demon have a, a jumpsuit. And then I was implementing 3D, and I was trying to replace the 2D character in Ultima Online with a 3D rigged model, because if you want to add a new sword, shirt, or whatever to Ultima Online, it is a monumental task because you got so many animations, and that thing has to work with every animation and all that and this and that. So this guy right here was my attempt to have a 3D version or rigged character so you could use animation retargeting. New equipment would be easy. You create the model and put it on there, a skin model, and then and you could expand the animations. You just download more animations and apply animation retargeting. So I was really close to making it vibe or blend in, but and then like UO, like here,
May I present to you Mega UO?
I was just doing all kinds of crazy stuff with Ultima Online.
No longer will you have to triple box.
It renders in screen space. The whole game is screen space with FNA, and it's a 2D batcher. So it's like you say what all you're going to render in this giant render list, and then it gets rendered to screen space. And I was able to bring it into world space. So like here, because up here is a screen space renderer, and I was getting it to render into 3D space like this. Now that one's a little buggy, but I had stuff like flip backwards. There was some technical stuff that I was working through, but I don't know. Like, again, I was putting a lot of time and effort into it, and I really should just been building my own game. So I'm back to building my own game. What else? So that's centered. No, I don't want that centered. I'm going to expand this text here soon. What other tweaks was I going to make? Background image. So hover. Oops. That's not what I want. Craft button, hover. And then craft button disabled. All borders non-existent. That is too big a text. Yeah, say there's the Discord, and then my link tree is on the screen if you want to follow me on other socials. I just knowledge dump in my Discord mostly. I mean, again, I'm gonna be giving a keynote speech on AI in November at one of the biggest one of the top colleges in the world, the University of British Columbia. And then at work, I work at a Fortune 1500 company, like one of the top companies in the world, and I'm kind of helping lead AI engineering or trying to find ways to apply AI there. Well, and what's funny is enterprises constantly want to pay other people to run AI for them. So like the cost of like hitting OpenAI at like at scale and all that can get really expensive. And the way AI and local models work, I do most of my AI on my 4090. Like, and like a lot of the systems that I'd want to build wouldn't even require like a HB 100. It would just need a consumer grade GPU, and it's just a job in the background that would be like, could, yep, yeah, local is where I love the open source community because Meta, Google, and all these other companies will drop like the new model. And I just wait a day or two and wait for China or whoever to drop an open source version. It's wild. It's just changing, daily. That looks much better. I still don't think I'm gonna have levels on the items. My item system is gonna be very similar to Elin, like depending, because like this log, you can use different trees and like like a birchwood log, a oak log, or different trees, or there's other acceptable materials for this material that's required to make this thing, and with your skill and different material combinations, it will imbue special properties on the items. So you can craft unique items and stuff. Yep, yep. And they say they don't because they got, it's not really on premise. I don't know. Like, yeah, exactly. So local models, you have complete data security out the gate. Like the one thing I want to build for my team of developers is I just wanted, I was going to create a thing like DeepWiki. I was just going to run the open source version of DeepWiki on a GPU and have it document all our code because we got so many programs or products. DeepWiki is really cool, but there's an open source version of this. Now you can go to any Git repo and replace GitHub with DeepWiki, and you can like run this for that. Let's see here, Classic UO. I actually ran this one for it because if the repo hasn't been scanned by DeepWiki, you can hit index, and about 10 minutes later, it'll have this like really detailed documentation, like architectural diagrams, and all this stuff. Oh, a really cool trick. If you ever want to document something, ask it to like do a solution level prompt and say, hey, give me plant UML to detail how this code works or the workflow or the sequence of events that happens. And AI can spit out plant UML real easily. Then you just go to a plant UML renderer and then paste it in there, and you can have really badass flowcharts and stuff real easy. Yeah, it's real simple. Plant UML is instead of doing Visio or like some other crap to build up UML documents or like workflows and shit like that, just ask it to give you plant UML of the process or the code base. And you can get a lot of cool, it helps you build out some workflows and shit about stuff. All right, so those are down. I'm going to nest. I'm going to add a button. Instead of making the label have the background image. Old puppers. Look at that. Yeah, no, probably. Are you trying to promote or sell me a Discord or graphics? That's typically what that message means. What am I thinking here? Then hide. That should, the text would be above it, right?
I think I've got it figured out finally. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Not scaled. It looks good. I think it needs to be longer. Over here, the recipes text will never change, but over here, there could be items with longer names. So what I may do is just convert this to be like a line graphic to kind of separate the sections. I'll leave it for now. Is all that it's capitalizing all the text? That must be that font. I need to make these less thick. Why wouldn't? Why would that ever possibly work? What's up, bud? What's up? What is it? What's going on? Oh, hold on, I gotta pet him. That is too cute. Too cute. He's a good boy. Here's our Russian blue. He's the best cat. He's the best one. The Maine Coon's awesome, but this guy is so smart. He is just, he'll bring his ball up, play fetch, and like, he's just smart. He's a smart guy. He's the acrobat. Leave him out water alone. Water cup with a lid, very important for kitties. They'll knock it over or get in it. What is it, buddy? All right, so the text's probably too big. Maybe 1 or 2 padding. Let's see what that looks like. Much better. Less chunky. All right. I've been styling and tweaking things forever. I want to get to some functionality here shortly. So realistically, at this scale, I would probably fit maybe 10 or so items in this list. This could probably get, so 3, 6, 9, 10. I'd imagine 10 to 12 items in here. I need to fix the recipes banner to be like this, guys. I need to do that. I need to put test items back in my inventory so I can craft again. The font. I gotta find a font that I love. It's so hard. Any font suggestions out there? I could really use one. get hungry. I'm gonna run and grab a slice of za. I will leave you with a notebook, LLM.
Okay, you know that feeling. That glorious moment when you find new loot. We've all been there. You've just taken down some huge boss, or if you found a secret room, and bam, there it is. A treasure
I'll be
chest, all
right back.
shiny, full of possibilities. Your heart kind of ices, you're excited, and then inevitably, you pause. You hit the button to open your inventory screen. And look, this screen isn't just like a utility, it's a critical point in your adventure. It can feel totally seamless, really satisfying, like part of the game. Or it can just slam the brakes on everything, turn that excitement into this frustrating, fiddly chore. You know the ones I mean. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are plunging headfirst into one of the most persistent and, let's be honest, really intricate challenges in game design, crafting the perfect inventory user interface specifically for controllers. Our mission today to unpack the foundational principles, look at some ingenious solutions, and also flag some of the common pitfalls that define how we as players manage our digital bags and backpacks using a gamepad. By the end of this, you're going to have a whole new appreciation, I think, for the subtle art behind these systems. And crucially, you'll understand why some of them just feel so right, while others make you want to throw the controller. And just so you know, this deep dive is based on a pretty comprehensive analysis called Controller Inventory UI Design Analysis. It pulls together insights from industry best practices, dives into specific game examples, the good and the bad, and really importantly includes a ton of valuable community feedback. Because, let's face it, players know when something feels off. All right, let's unpack this right from the start then. We're talking about inventory UI. It seems so fundamental, right? But designing it for a controller, it feels like a totally different challenge compared to, say, designing for a mouse and keyboard. Why is that input difference so profound? It's just a screen with items, isn't it?
It really is a problem of fundamental translation. Think about using a mouse and keyboard M plus KB, right? That setup gives designers this almost perfect toolkit for interacting with UI. The mouse gives you incredibly rapid, pixel-perfect pointer control.
Yeah.
Direct manipulation. You can flick your wrist, click precisely on a tiny little icon in a crowded grid, drag it somewhere else. All in, like a fraction of a second. And then the keyboard gives you this huge array of hotkeys, shortcuts, modifiers, instant actions for almost anything.
Yeah.
That combination, the speed, the precision, the sheer input bandwidth, it's the foundation for really complex, really efficient PC inventory systems. It's almost an unfair advantage in terms of raw input capability compared to a controller.
Right, and when you contrast that with a gamepad, it's just a completely different animal. Controllers are amazing for fluid character movement in 3D space, for subtle aiming or acceleration in driving games, but they weren't really built inherently for navigating static 2D menus, were they?
Exactly. The gamepad relies on indirect control. You're using analog sticks, maybe a D-pad, and a pretty limited number of face buttons and shoulder buttons. None of those offer that direct point-and-click precision. And this throws up some inherent limitations for UI interaction that designers just have to tackle head-on. First, you've got speed. Just traversing a big grid or scrolling down a long list or repeatedly tapping a D-pad or holding a stick, it's simply going to be way slower than a quick mouse flick. Think about getting from the top left corner to the bottom right of a big inventory screen. Then there's precision. Trying to select one specific, maybe small item in a really cluttered grid without that direct pointer. It can be genuinely difficult and prone to error. You highlight the thing next to it, especially if you're trying to do it quickly. And finally, like you mentioned, bandwidth. You just have fewer buttons. So complex actions, things like selecting multiple items at once, splitting stacks of potions, comparing stats between two swords, or quick transferring stuff between your bag and a chest, they all need clever button mapping. This often means using context-sensitive menus that pop up, or using modifier buttons to kind of layer functionality onto the existing buttons, which, can add its own layer of complexity if not done well.
Those limitations are really stark when you lay them out like that. And what it highlights for me is that good controller UI design isn't about trying to copy the mouse and keyboard experience. It can't be. It has to be about reimagining that interaction completely, from the ground up, to overcome those core issues: speed, precision, bandwidth, using solutions that feel native to the controller itself. It can't just be a lazy port.
Precisely.
Not getting
That's
that.
the key. The goal isn't to replicate
now.
M plus KB verbatim. It's about achieving the same outcomes. You want efficiency, you want clarity, you want low friction, but you have to do it using the controller's own language, its own inputs, and frankly, its unique strengths too. This is the central translation problem that every good controller inventory UI tries to solve. And the ones that really nail it, they embrace the controller, they don't fight against it.
So, when developers tackle this translation problem, they seem to gravitate towards two main approaches for just moving around the inventory: either a free moving cursor, like a mouse pointer, or a system where your selection snaps between items. That choice really seems to define the whole field, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's a fundamental fork in the road. The first approach is the free cursor, sometimes called mouse emulation. Basically, you use an analog stick to directly control an
I tear out the guts of the bun. Or these are keto buns, so they're really supposed to be not that bad, but still a lot of carbs. So get the meat of the bun out. You still got a bun top. That's how I enjoy hamburgers now.
on-screen cursor, trying to mimic how a mouse works. A really prominent example here is Destiny 2. Bungie made a very conscious, research-backed decision to use a free cursor for their grid-based inventory. Interestingly, their internal studies apparently suggested that constantly tapping the D-pad to navigate across those big gear grids could actually lead to thumb fatigue. So the free cursor was seen as a potentially faster, more comfortable way to highlight and select items across the screen. And they put work into it. There's subtle under-the-hood tuning going on. The cursor slows down a bit when it hovers over a UI element, helping you lock on, and then it speeds up when you're moving it across empty space to get you there faster.
Okay, so there's real thought behind it in that case, but it sounds like a tricky thing to get right.
Oh, it's fraught with peril if it's done poorly. Without that careful tuning, that sensitivity adjustment, a free cursor can feel really floaty, imprecise, slow, just frustrating to use. We saw this criticism leveled pretty heavily against games like No Man's Sky, particularly early on. Players often felt that cursor navigation was just an unoptimized PC port, not something designed thoughtfully for a console controller. It genuinely requires significant engineering time and constant fine-tuning to make it feel responsive, accurate, and truly native to the controller. It's not an easy win.
Okay, so that's the free cursor. What about the other main approach, the snap to element?
Right, the snap to element navigation. This is probably more traditional for controllers. When you push the
And that's why I'm doing the hotkey or binding, UI key binding. So every element on the up to a certain point, every element will have a key, because whenever you have that interface up, you're gonna have the full range of the keyboard or the full range of the controller. And so like over here where you see A, this is gonna be 1, 2, 3 or ASD, and it'll correspond to the key you can hit to press this thing on the keyboard. So you'll be able to work this menu with your keyboard and not have to mouse around it. And then when you have controller, it's going to be kind of the same concept, but there'll be a key, like I think left trigger, you pull it, and now every button on the controller will map to these things, and you can left trigger, click X to sort club, or click B to sort weapons. So I don't know what you would call it, but when you have the controller, you'll also have the virtual mouse cursor. I think that's possibly, I'm going to have to nail that, I think, over the snap to, well, I'm also going to allow snap to, you can just move your stick or D-pad and like move to different elements, but I'm going to get it all working on this interface because it's got plenty of elements, and then you'll really see how the key bindings to the different elements is what's going to allow people to really menu fast. You're going to be like, pop up the craft menu, hit S to go to this, sort by this, and then you can up the quantity and then hit C to craft real quick. But you should be able, and I'm going to try to keep it on the left side, just like Blender. I'm going to keep all these bindings on the left side of the keyboard, because then you can just, your one hand, you can work most menus with your left hand when they're up and keep your hand on the mouse if you want it to. Yeah.
The analog stick or the D-pad, the UI selection highlight instantly snaps from one interactive element, maybe a grid cell,
Listen to
a
this
list
while I
item,
munch this
a
hamburger.
button directly to the next adjacent one.
Looks like
Its
a
main
hamburger.
strength, it provides really predictable tactile feedback. You push right, it goes right, there's no ambiguity. It completely eliminates that pointer and precision issue.
It is a hamburger.
And because it uses those discrete directional inputs that controllers are good at, it often feels more native to the gamepad for many players.
But I can see a potential downside there too if you have a huge grid.
Exactly. The common weakness is that it can be slow to traverse very large interfaces. Imagine trying to get from the top left corner of, say, a massive 10 by 10 crafting grid all the way down to the bottom right, just by snapping one item at a time. That's potentially dozens of button presses. But good systems use clever tricks to mitigate this. They might wrap the cursor around the screen edges, so if you go off the right, you appear on the left. Or they implement input acceleration, hold the direction down, and the snapping speeds up after a moment. And crucially, they often use the shoulder buttons L1R1 or LBRB to jump between entire panes or categories of the UI. This lets you bypass huge sections instantly, dramatically cutting down on that traversal time.
That distinction is really clear. Free cursor versus snap to element. Is one definitively better? Or does it really come down to matching the navigation style to the game's overall design and what you're actually doing in the inventory? Seems like context is king here.
That's precisely it. It's rarely about one being inherently superior across the board. It's all about synergy. The choice has to connect directly to the game's core design, its pacing, and the nature of its inventory interactions. Think about a fast-paced looter shooter like Destiny 2. You're constantly getting new gear, comparing stats quickly, trying to optimize your build on the fly. That rapid traversal across a big grid is valuable. So a well-tuned free cursor can really shine there. But then you take a more methodical RPG or a tense survival game like Project Zomboid. Inventory management there is often a deliberate, thoughtful process, not something you rush. In that context, the tactile, predictable nature of Snap to Element often just feels better, more grounded. It's also quite telling, as you pointed out with Destiny 2, that even with their well-implemented cursor, the really dedicated community still relies heavily on powerful third-party tools like DIM for the deep inventory management, sorting through hundreds of items in the vault, optimizing complex builds. That suggests even a good cursor has its limits when an item economy reaches a certain scale and complexity.
The in-game UI is great for quick swaps, but
I've never heard of this. Deep dive. Hold
Hello
on.
everyone, I know my channel has been a bit inactive recently, but that's because I'm working on a lot of long-term projects at the same time, on top of speedrunning every day. That being said, I wanted to release this video since I did promise it would come out in the near future. Today we're going over everything DIM has to offer, from creating loadouts to integrating with third-party services like D2 Armor Picker. I read every single comment on my community post and compiled everything you guys suggested, on top of investigating every menu and button in DIM myself. As it turns out, while there's not nearly as much as I originally anticipated, I still felt that this video needed to be pared down into sections. Specifically, we're going to be talking about weapons and armor, loadouts, searching, third-party tools, and finally, general advice. Let's start with that first one. When you first get a weapon or armor piece, a quick way to analyze it is to click it, then press A or click the weapon's name. This will bring up its summary page, which contains its entire perk pool, its source, its introduction period, as well as a couple links to other sites like light.gg and D2 Foundry. If you're a fan of highlighting items based on parameters, look no further than tagging. There are a few ways to tag items, clicking on them and doing it manually item by item, from the new item feed, using a keyboard shortcut, or even using the search bar actions. Tagging items allows you to look for all tag matches at a glance, whether it be your PvP weapons you've marked with a heart, or some scrap pinnacle drops that you've tagged for infusion. Tagging can also interact with Destiny's locking system. By going into your settings, DIM can automatically lock items that have specific tags while unlocking those that do not. You can also see if an item is in one of your loadouts by using the triage tab, located right under the item's name. Not only does this tab tell you whether or not you actually use something, but it also tells you if there are similar items and allows you to filter for items in loadouts containing your currently selected item. The comparison pane is also incredibly useful for analyzing a variety of items that share similar properties. You want to compare all of your legendary arc rockets to see which ones to keep? Simply click a weapon and click compare or hit C, and now you can use the property filters at the top of the pane to change the grain of your search. Say you click on heritage. You can compare the heritage you click to other heritages, to other kinetic affinity shotguns, to other kinetic slot shotguns, to other kinetic slot slugs, to other legendary shotguns, or to other shotguns in general. If that's not specific enough for you, you can even use search filter parameters to compare whatever your heart desires. We'll go over filters later, but know that that's an option for now. Looking for a specific stat when you're farming, you can click these stats on the left of the compare pane to sort by value from left to right. This is good for weapons, but it's especially good for
So is this part of Destiny's, or is this a third-party tool? Let me pop this out real quick.
armor. Want an even more detailed look at whatever's in your compare pane? You can move everything to DIM's Organizer tab, where you can sort or examine every single stat and property of whatever you want to compare. Speaking of the Organizer tab, that's another great place to look at armor stats in individual columns at a glance. You can think of this tab as an extension of the Inventory tab. It's just a more visually distinct view that's more suited to comparing individual options rather than looking at your whole vault. That means the search bar and all those filters we love so much also work here, and you can use the checkboxes along the left side of the window to perform actions like moving, tagging, and locking. Finally, you can also export anything in the Organizer tab to a spreadsheet-style .csv file if you want to go even further and manipulate all of the individual column data yourself. When it comes to loadouts, let's start from the beginning. First, the Create Loadout page has a few features I think you should know about. If you prefer making loadouts in-game like me, then the fill-in buttons are a godsend.
Okay, so this isn't in-game. This is a third-party tool outside of the game. But I think there's lessons to be learned about advanced inventory management when it comes to complex systems, but what the hell is dim? How does dim integrate? Bungie.net API to access in-game data and stats. It also has its own separate sync API for features not supported by the Bungie API, such as storing custom notes, loadouts. Destiny, so that's really cool. Sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole here. Move, equip Destiny item, read Destiny inventory and vault. Move or equip Destiny items. Okay, so get, post. Equip loadout. This is badass. I did not know about that at all.
Not for database level management, which maybe tells us something about trying to make one UI do everything.
That's a great point. And it's not just about how you move the cursor or highlight items. The physical environment matters too, right? Most console players are sitting on a couch, maybe 10 feet away from the screen. That 10-foot UI concept, it's not just about making text bigger, is it? It must impact how you design the button controls for comfort and intuition too.
Oh, absolutely. The 10-foot user interface isn't just a catchy term. It's a fundamental design constraint that affects everything. Yes, it dictates that UI elements, text, icons, buttons have to be large, clear, and easily legible from a distance. No tiny fonts or intricate details that make you squint or lean forward. But perhaps even more importantly, it profoundly impacts how buttons are mapped. You need interactions that feel comfortable and intuitive from that relaxed, couch-based posture. You shouldn't need to constantly shift your grip or perform awkward finger stretches. It needs to feel natural, almost subconscious.
So Divinity 2, I'm going to investigate. It's Baldur's Gate 3 also has really good controller support. But Divinity 2. Okay, so wait. Okay, I got an idea. I did not know about DIM. Well, provide an API. And I could, because I'm not a multiplayer game, I could just, the game, when it's running, has an API endpoint. It's got hosted, or it's running in on your local 127.0.0.1, and modders could hit the game API and create third-party tools outside of the game to help. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for the future. Because again, I've really been trying to think about how to handle controllers and UIs and the best approach. Because again, the virtual mouse can be freaking annoying. Is that to original send to? That's where I can spell. I remember Baldur's Gate 3 having really great controller support now. And that's something I may investigate or dig into more. The whole Destiny having a freaking API is so cool. Even if the game is like bleeding users right now and everybody's kind of shitting on Bungie, that's impressive that they have that. So I'm going to kick off a deep research to analyze Destiny 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity Original Sin 2, and how they implement controller support across user interfaces. Because again, I don't want to start. I'm still going to do my keybind thing, because then with one hand you could work a UI. Like that whole crafting menu, I can have it to where you can work that without moving a mouse or lifting your hand off the left side of the keyboard. And then with the controller, again, I'm going to basically same concept, but maybe this will shine some light into some other ways I can handle controller support in the UI, because I really want to nail this. And it's very important to me that the game is playable with controller 100%. Very important. Very, very important. Elin and Rimworld. You still working on your HID readout? That's what you get for trying to design your own game controller. You brought this on yourself. AI is not helping with that? Or what are you trying to do right now, exactly? USB consortium. If it's not hex codes or, you know, bit operators, then is it really user friendly? To see a button via USB. You have to give me a write-up on it, or I don't know, we should hop on a call sometime. Have you like hit it or go to Gemini and do a deep research, or like dump what you got going on? Because a lot of times, like here, the deep research, I took it and I put it into Notepad LLM, and then from there I'm listening to this audio.
So what are some of the
thing,
common?
But also I create a mind map, and then from that mind map I discovered that's what got me down this rabbit hole of Destiny 2's dim is setting the microcontroller config. See, this is an interesting project, dude. Like, and I think, yeah, I kind of want to help because building controllers, dope idea. Have you got any more 3D renders of your controller, or like have you? Oh yeah. I guess that I can't help with that. But if it comes to the software side, I just might be able to help. What was your original objective, or like, why did you want to make a controller? Were you trying to, I don't know. Configurable touchpad on it, so like the Steam controller? Or I guess the touchpad on the PS4. Yeah. Well, the Steam Deck. Holy shit, I love those touchpads on the Steam Deck. They work really well. I mean, there's still a learning curve to it, but man, sometimes those things are genius. Oh, the touchpads are. Oh, damn. What the hell are they? Or what are they? Huh. That's wild. I'm gonna have to try that. I do like them, like, because again, I feel like there's a click to it. Oh, wait, you said when it's off. Okay, hold on. I gotta do this. I swear it's a button click.
This should be dead. 100 messages. I mean, they got give, but I guess it's not a click. I guess that's just a pressure sensor. Blown off my Steam Deck like a damn ancient book from a library. I swear I use this thing. That's interesting, though. It's not considered a button. I wish you could plug this into your PC and use it as a controller when it's off, or like have a mode where you could do that. I bet someone's done it. I bet you can. There's probably oh, Divinity Original Sin 2 had custom UIs for the controllers separate from the mouse and keyboard counterpart. This paradigm excels in predictability and learnability through grid-based navigation and induces controller native shortcuts that, in some cases, surpass the efficiency of the PC version. Its primary weakness lies in the cumbersome multi-step process required for inventory management, a friction point that drives some players to adopt a hybrid playstyle. A chaotic automatic resorting logic that consistently breaks the player's customizable layouts, imposing enormous and frustrating cognitive burden of constant UI housekeeping. So I just did a deep research to analyze these three games and how they implement controller support. I exported that to Google Docs, so you got this really, really good outline here, and I will read it later. Speed, efficiency, and cognitive load. So Destiny 2, navigation efficiency, fair. Divinity 2 is good, fair. Inventory management speed, poor. In-game is slow. Copper, what are you doing, bud? There's nothing for you to eat. I love you. We love you. You want a piece of bread? You here, you can eat the bread, I can't. There you go. So poor, fair. Go lay down, bud. Learnability, fair, excellent, good. Cognitive load, upkeep, low, low, very high. Layout, flexibility, excellent, poor, good. Immersion, good, fair, excellent. The multi-step pick-up and place mechanic is a cumbersome and slow substitute for the simple elegance of drag and drop. The inventory UI is simply
cited a major weakness being far slower and more frustrating to navigate. See, and I think the inventory system is also needs to be addressed in this when you're trying to come up with a controller friendly system for your game. And containers, a bunch of grid containers all over your base. You know, you keep making chests, and you put shit in it, you don't know where you put it. You can label the chests sometimes, but you got to still do a lot of clicking, dragging, dropping, and you got to go to this chest, get the thing you want. And one thing I'm going to do to alleviate that home base or the hub chest or inventory thing while still allowing you to craft chests, you need to make chests and place chests, is your home base or your hub or any place that you own. Every single chest expands the base's inventory. And I'm going to have a list, Sky UI like UI, to allow you to quickly filter down and grab stuff from your home base, put in your personal inventory, and then out on the road, outside of your home base, you got to manage your inventory, and you come home and you can auto dump. So if you already have certain items that aren't favorited or tagged as favorited or whatever, you can just auto dump it into your base chest. So you get back with a shitload of stuff. You favorite what you want to keep on you, and you auto dump the rest. And then instead of running around looking in all these different chests, you just open up the base inventory, and it's going to be just like Sky UI. A lot of very informative grid with a lot of information, or list view. And it's controller friendly. But I'm going to add this to this notebook. I'm going to turn that off. Sorry. I'm going to long deep dive. So now I'm going to create an AI podcast that I can listen to while I'm working about these 3 games and their approach to controller support and the user interfaces. I'm going to play Divinity Original Sin 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not going to play Destiny 2 because I know the virtual mouse concept of that. And I don't want that to be the system. And I think I have my idea of every element is mapped to a certain button on the controller or the keyboard. Now the keyboard, it's just when a UI is up that takes focus, and you cannot. I think all UIs, 99% of UIs are going to make it to where you can't move around in the game. You can't do anything else. You got to work the UI. And that leaves me the entire keyboard, which I'm still only going to use the left side of the keyboard, so you can one hand any interface real fast. So you can pop open the crafting menu, and with this key binding system to the elements, you can like tat, and like you can filter down to armor, and then click on the 5th element in the armor list, and then hit or something to increase the quantity that you're going to make, and then hit C to craft. So in like boom, you can work a menu. You can menu super fast that way. And I think that's going to be my defining way to do this. I think about this a lot. I want controller support so bad. And I want it to work with a complex simulation game like I'm working on. And this crafting menu is going to be the where I cut the teeth of this. Where I'm going to originally
The inventory menu and the crafting menu, I'm going to spend probably my next 2 days working on and trying to implement my ideas or whatever I glean from Divinity. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and install Divinity Original Sin. Because I am, for research reasons, I will be playing this game. Okay. I probably should install Baldur's Gate 3 too, but I remember that. I've played it recently. And I remember it. And it's very radial menu driven, which I like. Research. I'm going to come up with the most allotted controller UI interface ever made. Mankind will forever be changed. I will change the face of gaming with this UI controller interactions. No. I will mandatory modifier base. Let me think here. Mind map. Let's go back to that. Case study, hybrid and unconventional solutions. So let's dig into Divinity Original Sin 2. I'm 9:25. Man, when I'm driving back from the East Coast, Google Maps always tells you the time you're going to arrive at the destination's time zone, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I was waiting for it to trip. So like it flipped to central, from East Coast time or whatever. And like it's kind of fun because I think it makes you feel like you just like gained an hour or reduced an hour of the trip during the flip. I can't remember psychologically. I've driven to the East Coast so much now in the last month or two that we should have met up like halfway when I was up there. I think I'm coming back again. If I do come back again, I think I'll on my way up, I'll probably try to just like pass through your neighborhood or neck of the woods so we can chill. Like I figured you were going to be like an hour from Newark. I don't know why. I'm getting a headache. I need to take some aspirin. Yeah, it is. That is a factual statement. Yeah. Ohio goes on too long. Driving through Indiana is the worst state to drive through. Highway 70, like it's great roads, and then you hit Indiana. Like the second you hit Indiana, it's just like nonstop construction, and the roads are horrible. And there's so many cops on the highway. Yeah, I actually end up having to go like this and then this in Virginia. Yep, because it's like I go this way and then I got to go up and then I can get back to 70 or whatever the hell it is. I'm gonna grab aspirin. One sec. But I like the long trips versus flying. Yeah, but so when I hit West Virginia early in the morning, like I feel like I'm driving through the clouds, which I probably am. But because eventually my ears pop, and then they like pop again on the way back down or whatever. There's all these grade warnings, like there's the runaway ramps for the semis. I don't know. I went over. Oh wait, I went over like a giant dam. I went over a couple big bridges. I don't know if that was one of them. No, I did not drive over that. I drove under some bridges that like that, but not over that one. Ah, damn it. Gotta wake up. It's Friday night. I can't be yawning. Hold on. Keep grinding. I should keep grinding. Listen here, buddy. It's more than corn. It's got some trees. From Missouri to Colorado is pretty boring, I gotta admit. It is pretty crap flatness. The mountains in Colorado are pretty. I like driving through them. I gotta beat this tiredness. I'm tired, or am I? I'm not. Not tired. There's my cell phone, telephone. That's dead. Off to see the wizard. Wonderful Wizard of Oz. I almost think I need to play some games and take a break from UI work. I'm very proud of this guy though. I need to get more items into this workbench. And I put the inventory back on the player. And I gotta get all the details on the tooltip.
Oh, the funnest part of game dev, UI work. Oh, my brain is just mush. I might. I know I'm gonna get a second wind here, just in like if I stop streaming, I'll like all of a sudden get a second wind and work till like 1 o'clock in the AM or 1 a.m. into the AM. Bobo. It's a spicy. I do think I've got a good solution to controlling the UI quickly. Famous last words. I love you, buddy. He's a cutie boy. It's amazing how fast I became a crazy cat dad after we got our first cat. We went from 1 to 3 quick. I do think I'm going to do a figurine like approach to the characters. I'm going to play with that idea. What is this? This asset looks like it might be what I'm after. No, I thought I had like pixel textures from the shortcuts. I can retexture these guys. I'm looking for like a round base, like you would have an action figure on. Mantle, base. What's another word for that? Display. Bases come up with too much crap. This pack has shitloads of assets, so I really should just retexture this guy. It kind of looks like it would work if I rotated it. Platform, maybe? No, that's going to come up with a bunch of crap, too. Let's do circle. I think it's awesome. That could work. Oh, platform. Let's see what it says. What are you guys knocking over in there? What is it, boo-boo? He's got a hell of a vertical. He jumps like on top of my board game shelf, like, and it's like 6 foot. This is kind of good. Because then if, like, again, I want to keep the graphics similar or simpler and focus on the gameplay. Or, well, I don't know what I'm thinking. It's like an action figure base, like figurine. Yeah, something like this. The base could change up based off of the section or where you're sitting on the map or where your character's at. Then the player could just kind of like move like a chess piece. Maybe. I don't know. Again, I should stop focusing on art and just keep working on functionality. Oh, but I think my brain needs a break. I think I'm going to end the stream, but I'm probably going to get back on here in about an hour. Because I know I'm not going to go to bed. But I need to go stretch my bones and do something else for a minute. Yep. Yep. All right. Well, it's been good. I will probably talk to you guys again here shortly. Because, again, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I'm planning on streaming a lot. So, yeah. Night, man. Have a good one. One more time. All right. Talk to y'all later.